Okay, guys, and welcome back to the wrap up for the 18th of April 2020. As I have a calendar right in my face because all these days are starting to look like they blend together, but I hope everyone out there is staying safe, healthy, trading safe in this market. It's kind of been a wild one. So, again, if you guys are new for what this particular series is, we basically take a look at trade ideas and its ability to backtest different trading strategies. And let's just grab something here to backtest quick. I don't know if this will be good or not, but we come up with different trading strategies that we first backtest and say, okay, I want to know the statistics behind this scenario. For example, it could be a gap play or a break of a moving average or what have you. And once we know kind of the relative statistics behind a play, I take the ones that I believe are working currently best in this market and I scan for them by eye and say, okay, if I already know the statistics behind them and I've been trading for 12 years now, so I just, have that feel, I guess, from technical analysis point of view, I combine those things together and then we have trade ideas auto trade them for me throughout the week. I close them down on Friday, show you guys what my performance was. Again, obviously not advice because I'm just some guy on the internet, but just how I did. And then I show you what I'm looking at for next week. We feed those into the Trade Ideas Auto Trader and away we go for next week. So it's a simple strategy that I came up with a client that I mentor. Links for my email if you're interested in mentoring in the description below, who basically just wanted a way to kind of get his feet wet into trading while still working, and he worked at a job that he wasn't able to check the market constantly. So he wanted something that he could do on the weekend, have automatically managed for him by Trade Ideas, and then continue into the next week. So that's essentially what we do here, and I kind of give you my thoughts on the market as well. Another piece of housekeeping is Trade Ideas here you can see is having a test drive for 2 weeks. So if you want to give this platform a shot, but you didn't want to pay for a full month right away, you get 2 weeks for $9. So, a fancy cup of coffee gets you in there and playing. You can mirror these trades on our sim as well if you want. There's a full simulated trading within their system that comes with live data, as well as there's a little price alert contest where you could win a year of Trade Ideas. And again, you can get your spot here for $9. Links are in the description below for that as well. So let's start with the market. So here on the market, essentially we're just getting continuation of what we had last week, this kind of slow grind bounce up. People are looking at the declining volume and saying, well, it's still a dead cat bounce, and it could be. My kind of theory behind this is that we're about to enter an area of chop and indecision while this whole coronavirus thing works its way out, and then we will get a move either one way or the other. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as sell off, bounce, and then sell off again, which is what a lot of people are thinking. I expect this kind of chop sideways action for a while, which again for short-term traders is great. As long as there's volatility, then we're good. Two-sided action is good for us as well, so there's certainly no complaints there. So of the 4 symbols we put on the list last week, we had 2 that triggered, 1 win, 1 loss, and a net of it's about $1.10. When I closed it, it's showing $1.12 here. Let's take a look at the performance graph, which is right here. Again, I'm just taking these in, and I just input basically what happens if you did 100 shares, 200 shares, 300 shares, 400 shares, or 500 shares, because everyone has their own risk tolerance, right? So it's going to be different for each individual person. And this is the performance graph for the beginning of the year. We only had 1 down week so far, and I don't want to give anyone any kind of illusion that that's the way it's going to continue. I kind of just chalk that up to pure luck, to be perfectly honest. At this point, I don't think there's any magic to anything that I'm doing, so I just look at this as luck. So the two trades were one, KPTI. Essentially what we were looking at here is we had this strong push up, came back, filled the gap, and it looked like we were putting in a higher low here. So we were kind of hugging these moving averages, and it looked like we were going to pop up over it. We got triggered, and then it pulled back, and then Thursday and Friday, we had a good move on that. The other one we were looking at here was VMC for a short. Kind of the synopsis was playing off this kind of topping tail after this long push up. I just wanted to see if we were going to maybe make a pullback to 110 or 100 around there. Didn't happen. We just kind of chopped around, and it cost about 71 cents there, but that's okay. For this week, we're watching VCYT, essentially just looking at this big strong push up. You could call this a cup and then a handle here, or you could call this, I guess, an extended bull flag, but whatever you want to call it. Essentially what I look at is we have these declining tops after holding pretty strong, and we have a hammer candle and an indecision candle and indecision candle here. So we've got some battle going on here, and I'm just going to see if we resolve this battle upward. I think there's going to be some momentum there. Sage, looking at Sage's short float here of 19% as a pretty high short float, and we have one and then a slightly higher low and then a slightly higher low. So we've just kind of broke out of this descending triangle, and there's a lot of kind of math behind these geometric patterns, and these kind of show, I believe it's like a 56% to 60% win rate on these. And again, I just like the concept of we know exactly where we're wrong right down here, and we have all of this potential, right? Again, 50% win rate here, and my win rate is somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 to 60%. But what I do is I make sure that I stack the risk reward on my side, and that's kind of what keeps me alive, I guess, for the longest period. SSRM, we're watching this from the short side, pretty extended from its lows here, as well as it's kind of come into the 200-day moving average, and it had this wicked topping tail above it. And then we had this doji candle here on Friday. So I think this could continue lower through there. And CARG, basically just looking at this as we had a low, and then we had a lower high here and a lower high here. So I think this could roll over relatively weak to the market is basically the play that I'm looking at for a lot of these. If we take a look at the SPY, we can see it had this pretty big bounce, and then CARG here didn't really participate. So if the market rolls over, I think this one may roll over even more than expected. So that's what we're watching for stocks this week. Let's just take a look at crypto real quick, because I trade this as well, and a lot of people just look for my opinion on it. I took a small short as we broke out of this triangle, basically looking at this as a potential bear flag. We had this big strong push down here from this $10,000 high, and then we've kind of been grinding up, tightening here. We broke, it worked pretty good right away, and now we are rallying up here. So I'm definitely going to be wrong kind of in this 7,500 area, and I'll just take the loss and move on to the next one. Again, 55 to 60% win rate is all I really am looking for, and it's all that I have. So, I'll be wrong very quickly, but I would be right quite a bit, right? So we're risking, call it $500 a coin to make a couple $1,000s a coin if I was right. Strong action though. You can tell it kind of dipped it down into this 6,500 area probably 3 times, I think, over the last couple days, and was met with buying each time. So that's pretty interesting strength looking at that there. And that is it for this week. Again, otherwise on this channel, there's also this training that I'm doing with Jess, where I'm teaching my fiance to trade. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. There'll be a link for her channel in the description below. She's struggling very hard to get to 100 subs, because I told her that while she's locked in, if she can get to 100 subs, we'll get another puppy. So she's fighting for that one. And on top of that, I have restarted recording some of my swing trades now that they're less crazy. I stopped doing that for a while because it turned out that I would enter a swing trade and then sometimes that day or the next day I was just out. And I didn't think there was a lot of value there in following that. But now that things are a little bit more normal from a volatility point of view, I'm going to start that video series back up again, so you can check that out on my channel as well. So that is it for today, guys. Until I see you next time, trade safe out there.